Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're taking a first look at a brand new Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, the Dunsparce. That's right, Dunsparce can now evolve. Its evolution is called the Dunsparce, and much like Dunsparce, it's also going to be a normal type Pokemon. Now, the Dunsparce does have a higher combat power, meaning you can use it in the Ultra League, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. Much like its first stage evolution, the Dunsparce has Rollout as the fast move, with Rock Slide and Drill Run as the charge moves, giving it really nice coverage. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's go to Dunsparce. Hopping into the first match, we pick up a great lead Shadow Scizor into Tinkaton. Not only is this awesome because my Kyurem gets to avoid the Tinkaton, which is a complete wall to its energy, but almost every Tinkaton team is AVA weak to Scizor, and that's why they have to stay in. Tinkaton returns fire with a Play Rough, it's resisted, but does way more damage than if they went for the Bulldoze. They safe switch Malamar, and they are very, very soft to Scizor. I go for the Trailblaze, I get the shield, but what I was after was actually the attack boost, because now I have +2 bullet punches. Shadow Scizor is putting on an absolute clinic in this game, number 1. Getting to the Night Slash into the Malamar is going to be no shielded and picking up the knockout. In comes Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres gets a 3 Sucker Punch head start, but now I get to send out Kyurem, and I'm going to go for the Glaciate instantly, as that way it would be a cap tie if they went for the Brave Bird instantly. They did not. Instead, they're going to bank energy, send in Tinkaton, and I get to send out for the very first time the Dunsparce. The Dunsparce will go for the Drill Run. Drill Run picks up the knockout onto Tinkaton. In comes Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres, I want to see, can I survive a Brave Bird? Galarian Moltres is going to go for the Fly. The Fly did do a lot of damage. So the Dunsparce, while it has some bulk, it's not like one of the bulkiest mons in the format by any means. We're able to get that knockout and take the win. Dream lead in the next match, Shadow Scizor into Florges. Opponent safe switches into Runerigus, and my goodness, Shadow Scizor absolutely feasting on the lead. Night Slash shielded up by the Runerigus. Runerigus will get to grab a shield back with the Rock Tomb. My opponent, I believe, did wait the turn to make sure that the Rock Tomb landed on its intended target, but by doing so, that allowed my Bullet Punch to register and for me to queue up a 0-turn switch into Kyurem. Kyurem's Glaciate is going to land, and down goes Runerigus. Back in comes the Florges, but I'll be able to apply debuff after debuff with these Glaciates. My opponent will be forced to throw a move. So I get to yet another Glaciate. Kyurem putting in a ton of work against this Florges. Glaciate number 2 will land Florges, firing off a Moonblast. They are double debuffed. Florges, I believe, goes for a slight undercharge and a snipe with Belly Bolt. In comes the Dunsparce, and the Dunsparce has Drill Run for this exact moment. My opponent, with their energy advantage, will be able to outpace. Parabolic Charge is going to connect into the Dunsparce, and now I get to start unleashing Drill Run. Drill Run is going to be shielded by my opponent. I get to Drill Run number 2. My opponent will get to a Parabolic Charge before I'm able to get a third Drill Run. My worry is that if I shield, I could get combo played. So I think I'm just going to let this go and leave it up to Shadow Scizor to close out the game. I switch into the Scizor. They're now double boosted. I get to the Trailblaze on charge attack priority, hoping this is going to be enough, but they're double boosted. It is not enough damage. I'm forced to put up the shield as Parabolic Charge would inflict some pretty significant damage. In comes Florges, and Florges gets a move. Can I survive a Chilling Water? I believe I should be able to hang on, but can I make it to the Night Slash? I cannot make the Night Slash. The Dunsparce doesn't make the move. Man, for having Drill Run, I was pretty unimpressed with the Dunsparce's ability to handle Belly Bolt in that game. Well, we move to the next match, and there's a triple core breaker on the lead in Virizion. Virizion beats this entire team, but Scizor getting the Night Slash boost will help quite a bit. I will no shield this Sacred Sword, look to make it to another Night Slash. This is a +2 Night Slash. It is still resisted. Virizion has quite a bit of bulk, and it withstands that Night Slash. My opponent will win the lead, but this is honestly great. I was able to neutralize a Pokemon that's a huge problem for my backline. I can snipe down with Dragon Breath from Kyurem and not have to worry about my opponent making it to another move. But they're going to send in Florges. This is not amazing for me. I will get to debuff them with the Glaciate, but Moonblast will still be very threatening. I decide that I'm going to try and go for a catch. So I switch into the Dunsparce, getting the catch and a rollout sneak as well, as my opponent baits with the Chilling Water. They actually under-tapped there, so maybe not familiar with what the Dunsparce has and that they could have done one in the move. They double debuff me, and it's Belly Bolt once again. This is a Thunder Shock Belly Bolt. I'm already at -2 attack, but they will put up the shield, and they're going to immediately fire off the Parabolic Charge. With their defense boost and my 2 attack drops, I would basically be doing no damage. I farm up to the Draco Meteor. I'm confident they're going to shield, so I will go for the Glaciate, and they no shield. Oh, I should have gone for the Draco Meteor. Oh, that is so unfortunate, but I didn't want to lower my attack by 2 stages so early in the switch clock. Back in comes the Florges. Even though I wasn't able to inflict big damage onto that Belly Bolt, having residual energy on this Kyurem is really nice. So, I will get to the Glaciate. This won't knock out, but it's going to do big damage to that Florges. I switch into the Dunsparce, and I'm able to get the catch on the Chilling Water. Honestly, I wasn't expecting them to just under-tap a Chilling Water there. I was hoping to try and make it to a Drill Run. I overfarm as much as I can, taking the knockout. In comes Belly Bolt and my Dunsparce. It is such good stats, but it just can't hold on to make a last-second move. I shield up the Parabolic Charge. It's going to be a race, and I get to the Glaciate. That should seal it. My opponent doesn't have the energy needed to make the Zap Cannon, and with the debuff, now I should be able to survive the Parabolic Charge. So, Parabolic Charge at -1 does not KO. Kyurem farms down, and we're able to take the win. Picking up a very bad lead in the next match. I safe switch into Kyurem after throwing 2 bullet punches, fire off the Glaciate for it to be caught onto Blastoise. I'll have to check my health bar to see if they did get a sneak, and they did not. I should make the Draco Meteor before they make the Skull Bash, but it appears it's actually an Ice Beam Blastoise. I'm assuming my opponent does want switch advantage, so I'm going to farm up to the Draco Meteor and then go for a bait, as even a Dragon Claw would threaten to basically knock them out. So I bait with the Glaciate, and they no shield. I really need to start throwing Draco Meteor, man. Oh, that is so unfortunate. I go for another Glaciate. They're able to hang on, and now I have to decide, is it worth shielding up the Hydro Cannon and going for alignment? I say yes, so I will actually fight for switch, because Corviknight into Scizor can't really do much there. I will get the Glaciate, so Glaciate will debuff my opponent, and now they're going to switch into their own Dunsparce, and out comes Scizor. Scizor firing off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze into Dunsparce will be no-shielded. Dunsparce throwing on alignment, so I do get the free Bullet Punch, and they get to connect with that Drill Run. Dunsparce is now quite low. This, I'm hoping, should be a perfect 4 rollout farm down range. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in Dunsparce, looking for the farm down, but I realize they're actually going to live that on 1 HP. And that will probably lose me this game, because, unfortunately for me, I'm not going to have an ability to get rid of that Dunsparce without it making a move. I put up the shield, I get the shield call right, it is going to be the payback. And my opponent will fire off another charge attack right before I get my next Rock Slide. The Dunsparce has a really, really bad matchup into Corviknight, as even though you're hitting for neutral the whole time, Corviknight is just able to outdamage you. I get a debuff applied with Glaciate, but they're still well outside of Rock Slide range. They get to fire off this payback. It's debuffed, but it's still going to do a lot of damage. If this Rock Slide can put them into rollout down range, I can win this game. Keep in mind, I'm not debuffed. That damage, non-stab damage, is just really underwhelming in the Ultra League. And having to throw 2 Rock Slides is what sinks me in this game, as their Dunsparce will survive my 2 rollouts, as I feared, to take the win. Very unfortunate game, but I feel it really shows the limitations of the Dunsparce. Great lead in the next match, Shadow Scizor into Malamar. Now this is a bit of a tricky matchup, as Scizor, if you go Trailblaze, you end up losing your pacing, but if they shield the Trailblaze, then you're in a position where you can 2-shield farm down. So I'm pretty happy to get the shield, and now I can really look to threaten my opponent, as these bullet punches are just shredding. So I put up the shield. I'm more than happy to double shield in this matchup. They're going to save switch into Dunsparce, and I will go for the boosted Night Slash. I already have another Night Slash loaded. I'm going to throw 1, catch and sneak. I somehow don't get a sneak there. I should always get a sneak. I'm not quite sure what happened that I didn't get the sneak, but I have a big health advantage. So this is exactly where I want to be in the Dunsparce mirror, is I can roll out them into a range where I can knock them out with a Drill Run, and I just want to exit with quite a bunch of residual energy. So I'm going to do just that. farm it up to the back-to-back. Drill Run will pick up the knockout. In the back, they have Credilli. Drill Run should burn my switch clock, and then I can bring back in the Shadow Scizor. At Scizor, these bullet punches hit so hard. I get the back-to-back Night Slashes right before they make their Rock Tomb. They have the Rock Tomb now, but Shadow Scizor will win charge attack priority, firing off this Night Slash. It will not knock out, but it will do big damage. We get a boost right when it cannot help us. Rock Tomb KOs the Scizor. Back in comes the Dunsparce. Racing to the move, but Malamar is just able to outpace. I don't get my Drill Run, and unfortunately, I will have to reveal that my final Pokemon is Kyurem. This game is over either way. We are going to be able to take the win. I was hoping Kyurem would not have to see the field of play, but we will have to bring in Kyurem to farm down and glaciate this Credilli to secure the victory. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Scizor into Kyurem, an amazing lead for Scizor. Bonus safe switches into their Shadow Scizor, and this is actually not a good spot for me to be in. I don't have a good Ultra League Shadow Scizor, which means I get break pointed in the mirror. You're going to notice I am in the yellow health before they're in the yellow health because their bullet punches are doing one more damage to me than mine are doing to them. I tried to find a better Shadow Scizor, and unfortunately I was unable to do so. So here I will be able to outpace them barely, which is nice, but even though I am up on energy in this mirror, being down on health is a really unfortunate spot to be in. They're going to catch onto Stunfisk, and here I do make a misplay. I thought that I could make it to another move, so I stay in. I realized that I can't, and I'm forced out into the Kyurem. I should have just brought in the Kyurem instantly. That's a pretty massive error on my part. Mud Bomb is going to connect, and they're going to go for Mud Bomb number 2, but again, this just does not really threaten Kyurem. Kyurem can look to farm up quite a bit and go for the Glaciate. Glaciate into Stunfisk is super effective. Stunfisk hangs on barely, fractional HP remaining, but I should be able to survive the Mud Bomb. I have the Glaciate, but I try and throw one in the move and I get sniped. A big error by me, as they would have lost that entire Scizor. And now, unfortunately, they're going to get a bunch of moves into my Dunsparce. The game should still be winnable though. It's all going to come down to if my opponent can get a catch, because they're going to bring back in that Kyurem. I will outpace the Kyurem. I am going to predict that they are going to go for the catch. They know that I will outpace. They know that I am 2 rollouts off the move, so they have to go for the catch. So I'm just going to overfarm here, watching for the catch, but they just stay in. That's a great read by them. All you can do is tip your cap. I predicted they would go for the catch, so I overfarmed, but they just stayed in. They didn't go for the catch, and they're able to take that win. Picking up a great lead in the next match, Shadow Scizor into Shadow Feraligatr. Scizor is able to win the 2s to straight Night Slash. I like to bluff the Trailblaze to see if I can get a shield in the 0s, but I'm always just going to be going straight Night Slash because you don't have to throw a Trailblaze to win this matchup. And if you get the Night Slash boost, my Shadow Scizor was getting Night Slash boost after Night Slash boost in these matches. Oh my goodness. Things are feeling pretty good. They're feeling even better when you get a second Night Slash boost. We're now +4. Oh, that is so unfortunate for my opponent and so great for me. Feraligatr catches out of this onto Corviknight. Corviknight will be able to outpace me to my next move, so I'm going to throw 4 and then send out the Dunsparce. And we actually end up getting a catch on an Air Cutter as well, which is very, very nice for me. I'm just going to continue to overfarm with the Dunsparce. They throw an Air Cutter, trying to go for the Charge Attack Priority Tie. They're actually still not in Rock Slide range. I believe now that I'm at the back-to-back, they might finally be in Rock Slide range. But the Dunsparce Corviknight matchup is absolutely awful. They are in range, so I'm able to pick up that knockout. They have a move on the Feraligatr, but they will not be able to pick up the knockout. They try and catch on a Feraligatr, but they are unsuccessful. And now Dunsparce will be able to put in some pretty nice work into the Kyurem. Dunsparce, when it has targets that it can hit for super effective damage, can put in some nice work. Like in this matchup, Glaciate does not pick up the knockout, but it's those neutral matchups where you not having same type attack bonus will make the Dunsparce feel like, honestly, a pretty big liability. Hopping into the final match, and there's a massive problem on the lead, and its name is Empoleon. When team building, I honestly forgot about Empoleon, and Empoleon's here, and it's a big issue as Scizor loses to it pretty terribly. Scizor gets absolutely crushed. Kyurem gets absolutely crushed as well. So unfortunately, I kind of just have to stay in what is a horrifyingly negative matchup, try and play it out, but things are not looking great. As I'm basically in Hydro Cannon range here, I decided to double shield, just hoping that maybe the Empoleon won't double shield, but if I'm staying in, they know they're going to get value out of this Pokemon, so they have incentive to double shield it as well. I'm just going to stay in, let myself get knocked out, and then look to try and send out the Dunsparce. If Dunsparce hits the field, farming up, my opponent will be able to outpace. I'm a little worried about a catch, and I know a Rock Slide will KO anyway, so I will throw the Rock Slide in case they try and catch a Drill Run onto a Flyer, but they're just going to stay in. And staying in worries me, because that means they have very good alignment in the back. And they do. It's Como-O. I send in Kiram. In the back is Runerigus. And unfortunately, even though I can apply an early debuff to the Runerigus' Rock Tomb, even when debuffed, will do enough damage that I won't be able to defeat that Como-O. So they get to go for this Rock Tomb. It's debuffed. I can survive, but I just lose too much of my health bar, over farming as much as I possibly can. I can throw one Dragon Breath and then defer the Dragon Tail onto Dunsparce, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. But they will get to the upper hand. Upper hand, it's knocking me out. I can try and get to the Glaciate, but the Dragon Tail knocks me out, and we will lose that match. And now some final thoughts on Dunsparce and its viability in the Great League and the Ultra League. First off, in the Great League, I think you're just going to be better off running Dunsparce. As Great League, obviously with it being a limited combat power format, Dunsparce, the first stage evolution, will have the better stats. And if you have better stats and the exact same moveset, then there's not really a reason to run the Dunsparce in the Great League when Dunsparce already exists and does what it can do better. Now, the thing we tested out today was the Dunsparce in the Ultra League. Man, saying the Dunsparce 5 times fast, it's a little bit of a tongue twister. But the Dunsparce in the Ultra League, nevertheless, I leave feeling honestly a little bit underwhelmed. I think its coverage can be interesting. We know Rock and Ground coverage is very strong, but in these neutral matchups against Pokemon that you're going to see time and time again, I'm talking Pokemon like Corviknight, Pokemon like Bellibolt, Florges, that are basically almost every single team that you're going to encounter. The Dunsparce ends up feeling exceedingly underwhelming. The fact that as a Drill Run user, it's unable to beat Bellibolt, and as a Rollout and Rock Slide user, it is losing all evens to Corviknight, really makes me hesitate when it comes to team building with this Pokemon. So I definitely expect people are going to be testing it out in the Ultra League, but to me, at least on first impressions, I don't see it as a Pokemon that's going to last. I assume that people can have success with it, but it's going to need to be very well supported to overcome its pretty severe limitations in those neutral matchups. And trying to cover for the trio of Corviknight, Bellibolt, and Florges together, so that way you can run the Dunsparce, just puts you on the back foot when it comes to team building. So I definitely think it's worth grabbing one, and I'm happy that I do have one for the Ultra League now, but when it comes to Ultra League team building, I don't think this is a Pokemon that I'm going to be reaching for. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.